SnyderVerse can be restored. Amazon buys DC biggest. See what Warner has to say about this and check this out.
In today's video, we're going to talk about the SnyderVerse, and I now actually believe it could 100% be restored by a streaming platform, whether that be Amazon, whether that be Apple Plus TV. I don't think Netflix could afford it, but in theory, it could be for sale. The SnyderVerse could be bought, and also Amazon buys DC's biggest property ever? Well, in theory they have, so yo, what is freaking good YouTube wish you if you're new around it, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, pop culture based content that I try to cover on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below. Do you think I'm right that the SnyderVerse can now actually be restored? And also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Watch You to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice, and also check us out on Twitter at WestG. Right, let's get into this video. So, I've changed my mind. I'm allowed to change my mind as a human being. I can actually change my mind. This is based on factual information. Now that Amazon has just restored a property that is kind of beloved, one of DC's biggest properties ever. Yeah, okay, it is an animated version of Batman, but it's still Batman nonetheless. It's not True Detectives. It's not a wannabe HBO Max series that no one actually cared about. It's Batman. Caped Crusader moves to Amazon. They've just ordered 2 seasons. So, your boy Washju believes that Amazon could restore the SnyderVerse. I still don't believe Netflix could, because they've got no money. So I'm still sticking to that storyline that Netflix can't buy the SnyderVerse. They have no money. They're poor. They're in debt. Okay, they're not actually in debt, but they're hemorrhaging money. And I think it's funny when people comment and say, no, they're not. They've had their lowest profits in 10 years. It's just not going to happen, lads. It's not going to happen. So, as we know, Warner Bros. Discovery is in huge debt, somewhere around $48 billion. I mean, I've not spoken to David Zaslav recently, but somewhere around there. So, they could sell the SnyderVerse stories off to Amazon Prime if they wanted to. And a big part is if they wanted to. Now, there's a big, I don't know what to call it, there's a big thing where people think eventually they're going to sell off DC or the whole of Warner Bros. To someone like Comcast, or someone's going to come in and buy it. I mean, it does look like they are leveraging everything in theory to do that. David Zaslav just wants the bottom line. He just wants money. He wants all the money. But the only problem with a live-action SnyderVerse on a competitive streaming service or one of their competitors would be people could get confused. It doesn't take a lot to confuse moviegoers. It really doesn't. I mean, some people got confused with Ant-Man 3. There really isn't a lot to get confused, saying that something happened at the end of the movie when it didn't really happen. So, at the same time, we've got to be realistic. There's a big difference from Warner Bros. Discovery selling an animated series being the Batman, the Caped Crusader, to an actual live version of either a movie or a TV show. There could be some confusion. So the series for JJ and Matt Reeves and Bruce Timm was previously developed for HBO Max. So this isn't the case as before when I trolled it. This is actually a quite popular series. This would be really popular, for sure. So now, based on this, I'm not backtracking. Please let me know down below how I am. But now there's actually factual evidence. Not just people going, yeah, there was 100,000 tweets about it. The tweets mean absolutely nothing, lads. I hate to tell you this, but Twitter means nothing. It means literally nothing. Because if it did, Justice League 2 and 3 would have been done straight away instantly. So let's establish Twitter means nothing. The show move comes as DC's studios boss, James Gunn, and Pete Safran, who Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav hired last year to bring order to DC properties. The duo has plotted out a 10-year plan to tell a unified story across film, television, gaming, and animation. So one thing I find quite funny about everyone getting behind James Gunn is people that dislike the Suicide Squad movie and Peacemaker are like the biggest James Gunn fan on Twitter, saying he's going to make the greatest Superman movie ever. Okay, I really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I like Peacemaker. I like the Suicide Squad. I think James Gunn would do a fine job when he actually gets around to doing something and releasing something, sure, we can talk about then. But I find it funny how some people on Twitter absolutely destroyed Gunn for Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, but now he's in charge of DC. He's the greatest person ever. I find that kind of weird, because if you didn't like the stuff he did when he wasn't in charge of DC, why are you going to like it now? It literally makes no sense. So, meanwhile, there is some interesting kind of lines of wording in this. Animation, meanwhile, remains a major area of investment for networks, streamers alike. In addition to appearing well on streaming platforms, in success, original ideas become extremely lucrative, and that's what companies want to do, make money. Thanks in part to the ability to turn characters into lines of merchandise. See The Simpsons, Rick and Morty, at Amazon, Batman, the Cape Crusader would join a roster of animated fare that also includes, okay, that's kind of relevant. Obviously, merchandise is a really important thing. So let's just talk about Spider-Man for a minute. So Spider-Man is owned by Sony, okay? They get there's a new sharing arrangement where Disney gets a little bit more of the percentage from the box office. But when it comes to merchandise, Spider-Man makes billions of dollars a year in merchandise, and for spoilers, Disney owns the merchandise rights to Spider-Man. So obviously we're not saying the SnyderVerse or anything like that would generate that kind of money, but the point is, you can make a lot of money in selling merch if you get rights properly. So in theory, Netflix or Amazon, whatever, whoever could take over the SnyderVerse, Warner Bros. Discovery could be like, yeah, cool, you can do that, you can sell merch, but we want like 60% of it. And they could do that. Or they could say, yeah, you can't do that, we're selling merchandise. But like I keep saying, the problem with this is live action SnyderVerse, if that was restored on Amazon or Apple, not Netflix, because they can't afford it. I really find it hilarious how people think they can. Netflix cancels all the best shows they've got. Like, just look into it, lads and ladettes. So the problem is 2 live action versus having Justice League characters. I don't think they could do it still. Although, hypothetically, I said at the start of the video, it is possible. It's just, it would confuse the general audience. It really would. Now, a animated SnyderVerse being restored, I really think that could happen. I really could see that happening. Based on evidence that Batman Cape Crusade is going to Amazon. I think they could do a really good animated version of the SnyderVerse on Amazon TV. You know, Amazon have Invincible, really cool series, it's done really well, and there's so many cool animated series, more in like kind of, you know, in the anime, like Dragon Ball Z, etc. There are a lot of Rick and Morty, there's so many big animated shows that I think the SnyderVerse could do it that way. Now obviously, I presume if they were to do it, that Zack Snyder would have to get on board in a roundabout way, because it's kind of his universe and he'd want to be behind it, but I don't think Zack would have anything against it being turned into some variants of an animated series, but I honestly think that's the only way it could be restored. So the Cape Crusader moves to Amazon, comes after Zaslav revealed his studio would develop more Lord of the Rings movies. Amazon coincidentally controls the TV rights of the Lord of the Rings franchise, and now will count Warner's Batman as part of the service they're offering. So I think this is cool overall, because they make more money. Animated series are cool. Most people have Amazon Prime because it's the cheapest service ever. It's literally free. If you buy stuff on Amazon's website, you don't actually have to pay any extra. And also it introduced a bunch of new people to a new audience that maybe not watch DC animated stuff. So it's a cool thing overall. And I wouldn't say I was wrong, but I've changed my mind now based on this information that potentially the SnyderVerse could be restored on Amazon, just like I said a few days ago. So, like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at What's You to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, OS2G, and let me know, would you be happy? Would you be satisfied with an animated series to finish the SnyderVerse? I think it could be cool, and it'd be easier to get all the actors just to do voice acting instead of them to actually, you know, work on the projects for months on end. I think it'd be much easier that way. It'd be much cooler. And you could get that universe on Amazon Prime, because Netflix can't afford it, and then just have whatever James Gunn, Pete Safran, and Zaslav are doing on, you know, the theatrical side with the new DC universe. I think that would be the best of both worlds, and that would be cool. Obviously, I would prefer a live-action SnyderVerse to continue and see Darkseid ready to come out and do things the old way, but I don't actually think that's possible. I just don't think they'd allow it. I think an animated verse could definitely work. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at What's You to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, OS2J, and I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.
like this video. Very nice. See you guys. Bye.